I never thought I'd end up holding a loaded Glock to my own brother's temple, whispering the truth he'd buried for a decade, while he begged for mercy in a voice that wasn't his anymore. But that's the thing about revenge. It doesn't just rewrite the score. It flips the goddamn script on who you thought you were. And when you're staring into eyes that used to be yours, realizing the monster you built was staring back from the mirror all along, well, that's when the real storm hits. It started in the garage of our rundown Victorian in Oakland, back when Ethan and I were kids scraping by on mom's diner tips and dad's ghost of a mechanic's salary. I was 15, he was 18, and we had this beat-up Commodore 64 that dad salvaged from a junkyard. While Ethan charmed the neighborhood girls with his easy grin and quarterback dreams, I taught myself BASIC in the dead of night, coding games that made kids at school line up to play. Mila's the wizard, they'd say, but Ethan? He was the frontman, the one who sold my demos to arcade owners for beer money. Fast forward a decade, and we'd turned that wizardry into Apex Innovations, a Silicon Valley darling cranking out AI-driven security software that locked down everything from Fortune 500 servers to celebrity smart homes. I was the code queen, architecting algorithms that predicted breaches before they happened. Millions in revenue. Forbes 30 under 30 for me. TED Talk invites stacking up. Ethan handled the suits, venture capital pitches in Palo Alto boardrooms, schmoozing at TechCrunch Disrupt afterparties, flashing that same grin that now closed 9-figure deals. We were the unbreakable duo, blood thicker than the Bay Area fog. Our office overlooked the Golden Gate, all glass walls and exposed brick, with a ping-pong table where we'd hash out midnight pivots over IPAs. To the Millis and Ethans of the world, we'd toast, clinking bottles as the city lights twinkled like promises. But promises in the valley are as solid as stock options until the bubble bursts. It burst on a Tuesday in July, the kind of scorcher that turns the asphalt to tar. I was knee-deep in debugging a neural net glitch when HR burst into my office, flanked by 2 stone-faced suits from corporate security. Mila Reyes, you're under investigation for intellectual property theft, the lead drone said, his voice flat as a non-compete clause. Theft? My code. The room spun like a server crash. They marched me out past cubicles where interns gawked, my laptop seized, my badge yanked like a bad breakup. Ethan wasn't there. Off in New York for investor meetings, he'd texted that morning with a thumbs-up emoji. By evening, the news hit TechCrunch. Apex co-founder accused of siphoning code to Chinese rivals. FBI involved. My face splashed across feeds, tagged with Valley betrayal. Friends ghosted, investors pulled funding, and our stock tanked 40% overnight. I lawyered up with the best Silicon divorce attorney money could buy. Ironic, since it was our money. But the evidence? Ironclad. Backdoor logs showing my admin access funneling proprietary algos to offshore servers. Emails from my account negotiating payoffs. Even a witness, our CFO, swearing I'd cornered him in the break room, demanding he look the other way. She was desperate, Ethan, he'd say in depositions, eyes darting like he was reading from a script. Ethan flew back that night. All apologies and bear hugs in the holding cell. This is bullshit, sis. We'll fight it. But his eyes? They flickered. Guilt, or something sharper. The trial was a circus. Prosecutors painting me as the greedy Latina hacker girl from the wrong side of the tracks, clawing for a bigger slice. My defense? A joke. The jury deliberated 12 minutes. Sentenced to 10 years at FCI Dublin. Minimum security, but soul-crushing all the same. As the gavel cracked, Ethan leaned in, whispering, I'll hold the fort. Apex needs you back. Lies. From my orange jumpsuit perch, I watched him pivot the company overnight, rebranding as Ethan Reyes Vision, poaching my patents under continuity clauses, marrying the narrative of the betrayed brother rising from ashes. Apex hit unicorn status while I rotted. My appeals denied on technicalities that screamed bought-off judges. Prison was a slow bleed. No more code editors, just library books on cryptography smuggled in by a sympathetic guard. Nights, I'd replay the logs in my head. Timestamps that didn't match my sleep tracker, IP trails routing through proxies I never touched. Someone framed me, and it smelled like family. Ethan visited twice. First with crocodile tears and company swag, second to gloat subtly, dropping hints about moving on with a new fiancé, some venture capitalist daughter named Lila. Then, the letters started. Anonymous slipped under my cell door. Clipped newsprint collages. Headlines about Apex's dark underbelly. Prototype test gone wrong, one dead. A lab tech, fried by a faulty neural implant during beta trials. Our AI wasn't just security. It was bleeding into neural interfaces, mind-reading wearables for the elite. The tech promised to enhance cognition, but early tests? Nightmares. Hallucinations, seizures. That tech died in the fire, literally, a warehouse blaze in Fremont blamed on faulty wiring. But the letters whispered. Ethan knew. He pushed the trials, fudged safety data, buried the body count. And me? I'd signed off on the protocols, blind faith in my brother's oversight. Collateral for the greater good, he'd joked once, over whiskey. Greater good. The tech that killed Elena Vasquez, the single mom from our old neighborhood who'd volunteered for extra cash. Her death? Ruled accidental overdose, but the autopsy, mailed in fragments, showed neural burnout, circuits fried like overclocked GPUs. I gambled everything on a plea. Testify against Apex, expose the rot for reduced time. The feds bit, paroling me after 5 years on cooperation. But the deal soured. Prosecutors vanished my evidence. Witnesses recanted. Ethan's machine, lawyers, lobbyists, the whole corrupt carousel. Out on the streets of Oakland with $200 gate money and a chip on my shoulder the size of the Bay Bridge, I vowed payback. Not just for me. For Elena, for the code I bled into, for the family name he'd torched. Revenge isn't a straight line. It's a Bayesian algorithm, probabilities stacking until the model breaks. I started small, burner phone, deep web dives. Hired a PI named Rico, ex-cop with a grudge against Valley Tech brothers. He tailed Ethan to underground fight clubs in the Tenderloin, where the golden boy blew steam, and coke, on bare-knuckle brawls. Guy's unhinged, Rico reported, sliding me grainy photos. Screams your name in his sleep, like you're the ghost haunting him. But the real break? A whistleblower from Apex's R&D lab. A kid named Jax who'd idolized my old TED Talks. He met me in a dive bar off 98th, hoodie up, voice a whisper. They kept your neural prototype alive, underground. Ethan's pet project, full body swaps. Consciousness upload, body hijack. Sci-fi shit, but real. Tested on convicts first, disposable types. Body swaps. The holy grail of transhumanism, the kind of tech that'd make Elon weep. Our original white paper, my brainchild, promised therapeutic miracles, paraplegics walking borrowed limbs, dementia patients reliving youth. But Ethan? He'd weaponized it, black budget deals with DARPA ghosts, swapping identities for spies, erasing enemies by overriding their minds. Jax had the access codes, stolen on a thumb drive. One shot, he said, eyes wild. Infiltrate the lab, sink the rig. But it's unstable. Rejects half the time, leaves you a vegetable. I didn't hesitate. That night, under a harvest moon bleeding red over the hills, we breached the Fremont facility. Alarms wailed like banshees as I jacked into the chamber, the neural crown humming against my scalp. Ethan's vitals blinked on the console. He was there, prepped for a routine calibration, arrogant enough to solo test. The swap initiated, a lightning storm in my veins, memories fracturing like glass. When the world rebooted, I blinked into luxury. Marble counters, a view of the marina from a Sausalito penthouse. My hands. No, his hands. Flexed, longer fingers, calloused from golf grips. Mirror confirmed. Ethan's face stared back, that chiseled jaw, the eyes I'd trusted. I was him. He was me, trapped in the shell of a paroled felon, probably clawing at chain link in some halfway house. The power rush hit like uncut adrenaline. I accessed his phone, texts from Lila planning a Napa wedding, board emails greenlighting a $500 million IPO, and buried deep, in encrypted folders, the truth. Elena's file, not accident, but sacrifice. Ethan had dosed her deliberately, testing overload thresholds for the swap tech. Human firewall, his notes read. Break one to build unbreakable. Worse, the frame job. He'd cloned my access, scripted the theft from day one, to purge me as a liability. I knew too much about the trials, the bribes, the bodies. Mila's the weak link, one memo sneered. Cut her, Apex soars. Rage boiled, but I played cool. First move, sabotage the IPO. I leaked doctored financials to Bloomberg, subtle, just enough to spook investors. Stock dipped 15%, Ethan me, frantic voicemails from the outside. His voice in my old body, pleading, "Sis, what the hell? Call me back." I didn't. Next, the personal gut punch. I seduced Lila at their own engagement party, a lavish affair at the Fairmont. In Ethan's skin, I was irresistible, whiskey breath, that grin. We slipped to the balcony, her hands on my chest, whispering doubts about the imposter brother she'd glimpsed in me. By dawn, she'd left him a Dear John on my nightstand. But Ethan fought back dirty. From his prison of my flesh, he mustered allies. Cops tipped off about Mila's erratic behavior, a restraining order slapped on my old self. I dodged shadows in Oakland alleys, paranoia spiking. Was that Rico's tale or Ethan's? The swap's glitches crept in. Phantom pains where my tattoos should be, memories bleeding. His first kill? No, Elena was the start, but there were others. Lab rats turned ghosts. The climax brewed at Apex's 10th anniversary gala, black tie under chandeliers in the Moscone Center. I strode in as Ethan, keynoting to a sea of VCs, dropping bombs about revolutionary identity tech. Backstage, Jax waited with the reversal rig, but Ethan had gotten there first. My body, bolted on prison yard iron, syringe in hand. "Switch back, you bitch," he growled, voice mine but laced with his venom. "Or I end us both." We grappled, circuits sparking, the crown clashing like swords. Truth spilled in the chaos. "You think I framed you? You signed Elena's death warrant." Lies. "No." Flash of memory, is but bleeding into mine. I'd okayed the trials, buried the red flags to chase the dream. Ethan took the fall. No, he covered for me, the little sister with blood on her coat. The real betrayal? Mutual. We'd built Apex on bones, and when the heat came, he sacrificed me to save us both. The twist gutted. In the swap, I'd glimpsed his logs, my own emails, authorizing the payoffs. I'd known, deep down, and let ambition blind me. We were the same monster, mirrored. As sirens wailed, Jax's alarm trigger, I hesitated. End him, end the lie? Or merge the mess, expose it all? I yanked the crown free, bodies snapping back. Pain, rebirth. We collapsed, twins in the rubble, faces smeared with shared sin. Cops hauled us both, headlines screaming, Apex Twins empire crumbles in scandal. Elena's family got justice, settlements, congressional probes. Apex. Dismantled, code open-sourced for good. Ethan and I, parallel cells in San Quentin, visiting through glass, arguing whose fault till the end. Was it revenge or reckoning? Heroic takedown or mutual destruction? You tell me. Blood's thicker than code, but thinner than the truth when it crashes down. Waking up in Ethan's body felt like logging into a premium account. Everything sharper, entitlements humming like overclocked RAM. His Mercedes purred through the fog-shrouded streets of Sausalito, radio blasting Springsteen, because that's what winners blasted when they thought they'd won. I cranked it, belting Born to Run, with a voice deeper than my own, the kind that commanded boardrooms. But inside, a storm of Mila Reyes, plotting pixels of payback. First order, reconnaissance. I parked at a harborside cafe, the kind with $12 lattes and laptop warriors pretending to hustle. Ethan's phone buzzed. Lila, heart emojis, and vineyard RSVPs. I texted back, "Miss you, babe. Napa this weekend?" Her reply, "God, yes. You've been so distant." Distant? Try possessed. I scrolled his secrets. Offshore accounts fat with Apex kickbacks, a little black book of politicians who'd consulted on the neural trials. Names like Senator Hargrove, the guy who'd killed my appeals with a single memo. Rico met me at a taqueria in the Mission, burritos steaming like old grudges. "You look off, boss," he said, squinting over his horchata. "Off. Try brotherly." I spun the yarn. Amnesia from stress. Need his eyes on Ethan. He bought it, or close enough. Ex-cops don't ask about family weirdness. He's spiraling, Rico confirmed, sliding a dossier. Fight Club footage. Ethan me, pummeling a proxy for a Russian oligarch, knuckles split, eyes feral. Muttered about stealing his life after. Stealing his life. The irony burned hotter than jalapenos. That night, in the penthouse with its king bed and wine fridge stocked with 82 cabernets, I dug deeper. The safe, Combination his birthday, arrogant prick, yielded a USB drive. Plugging it into his laptop, a flood, video logs from the Fremont lab. Elena Vasquez, strapped to the rig, electrodes kissing her temples. Subject 7, threshold test. Ethan's voice narrated, clinical as a shark. She convulsed, screams muffled, vitals flatlining. Cut to cleanup, body bagged, overdose stamped. My stomach twisted, not just horror, but recognition. I'd greenlit that protocol, emailed revisions from my Hawaii layover, drunk on my ties and milestone checks. Push boundaries, I'd written. Boundaries like human decency? Buried under VC pressure, the siren song of disruption. Ethan hadn't acted alone. He'd followed my lead, then flipped the script when the feds sniffed. Guilt gnawed, but revenge armored it. I hit send on the leaks, anonymized clips to ProPublica, tagged with Apex atrocities. By morning, Twitter, X, whatever, was ablaze. Influencers decrying tech bro Frankenstein. Activists chaining to Apex gates. Stock plunged another 10%. Ethan's, my, voicemails from the halfway house frantic. Mila, stop. You're killing us. Killing us. Music to my hijacked ears. But the swap's toll mounted. Migraines like DDoS attacks. Flashes of his memories. First kiss with Lila, sealing a deal over cigars with Hargrove. Intimacy poisoned. I popped his Adderall stash, chasing clarity, but it amplified the bleed. My code instincts in his dealmaker brain, birthing hybrid schemes. Lila arrived that weekend, all yoga-toned grace in a sundress, expecting romance. We drove to Napa, winding through vineyards heavy with Cabernet grapes, the air thick with false idols. Over Pinot at a cliffside bistro, she probed. Ethan, talk to me. Since Mila's release. You're different. Haunted. Haunted. Try vengeful ghost. I fed her crumbs, doubts about the frame, whispers of Ethan's paranoia. Her eyes softened, hand on mine his. I always knew she was innocent. You pushed too hard to bury it. By the tasting room's end, lips met, wine sweet and treacherous. Back at the hotel, silk sheets tangled, I played the part. Moans in his baritone, touches calculated to unravel. Dawn light filtered through shutters as she slept. I slipped her phone, forwarding Ethan's dirtiest texts to her inbox. Self-sabotage, gift-wrapped. Monday, the boardroom imploded. As Ethan, I chaired the emergency meeting in Apex's war room, screens flickering with red tickers. VCs bayed for blood. Neural division's toxic. Shut it down. I nodded solemnly, then dropped the hammer. We're pivoting. Full transparency. Open source the swap tech. Audits on all trials. Gasps rippled. It was suicide. Billions vaporized. But it boxed Ethan, me in the shell, forcing him to watch his empire gutted from afar. He struck back viciously. That night, Mila attempted suicide, slit wrists in the halfway house bathroom. Note blaming betrayal by blood. Staged? The news cyclated. Fallen founder's despair. Reyes' siblings' tragic rift. Sympathy surged for him. My old body paraded on CNN as the victim, therapists cooing about familial trauma. Cops raided his penthouse, finding evidence of my meddling. The USB, my fingerprints, his now. Bounty hunters? No, but shadows thickened, tail lights in rear views, dead drops with warnings. Jax called from a burner. They're on to us. Labs on lockdown, DARPA spooks crawling. I met him in a derelict warehouse by the docks, salt air whipping off the bay. He clutched the reversal drive, eyes darting. One pull, you're you. But Ethan's rallied. Hired mercs, the works. Mercs. Valley warfare gone analog. We synced the portable rig, crown-biting scalp. But as the hum built, doors crashed, black-clad figures, tasers crackling. Jax fought, went down swinging. I yanked free, swap holding. Chaos. Bullets pinging concrete, my borrowed body dodging like a glitch in the Matrix. I escaped into the night, bloodied but breathing, Jax's last words echoing. Finish it. For Elena. The gala loomed, anniversary glitz masking the hemorrhage. I prepped as Ethan, tuck sharp, speech scripted with barbs at ghosts of past mistakes. Backstage, the real showdown brewed. Ethan, in my frame, veins bulging with rage, ambushed, crown in fist. Give it back, he snarled, my own face twisted demonic. We tumbled, rigs clashing, sparks illuminating the truth in strobe, shared sins, mirrored madness. You killed her too, he spat. And in the neural flood, it cracked. The real twist, not his cover, but ours. I dosed Elena, not him. Desperation for data, a shortcut to prove the tech to investors. Ethan discovered, framed me to protect the dream, our dream. Betrayal? Love's ugly mask. Sirens swelled as we froze, crowns humming in sync. End it. Or confess, shatter the facade. The choice hung, electric. The warehouse brawl left bruises blooming like error codes under Ethan's skin. Split lip, ribs tender, but it sharpened the edge. No more half measures. The gala would be the kill switch. I spent the week in shadows, holing up in a no-tell motel off Highway 101, the kind with vibrating beds and roaches that paid rent. His credit card? Maxed on burner laptops, dark web bounties for Hargrove's dirt. Turns out, the senator's consulting fees funded Ethan's escape hatch, a private jet to Cayman hideaways, passports and false names. Lila bailed midweek, her text a scalpel, found the videos. Elena? We're done. Don't call. Ethan's phone, mine now, shattered against the wall, fragments glinting like broken trust. But grief? Fuel. I leaked her story to a podcaster, Valley Vipers, anonymized but pointed. The fiancé knew, chose silence for the ring. Public shaming, Valley style. Her Insta flooded with pitchfork emojis, job offers evaporating. Rico vanished too, last ping from a payphone. Too hot, Mila. Watch your six. Ethan's reach, tendrils in every dive. Paranoia peaked. Every knock echoed feds. Every reflection a stranger's smirk. The swap glitches worsened. Hallucinations of Elena, spectral in the mirror, whispering why me. In Spanglish from our barrio days. Mom's old lullabies twisted into accusations. Sleep? A luxury for the unbetrayed. I prepped the gala strike. Jax's parting gift, a virus worm in the keynote rig. During the demo, live-stream neural sync with a volunteer. I'd trigger it, broadcasting the Elena tapes to every screen, every feed. DARPA deals exposed. Hargrove's bribes pixelated for the world. Ethan would crumble, live, begging in my voice. The Moscone buzzed like a hive on steroids, sequins and stemware, air thick with cologne and cocaine whispers. I keynote smooth, Ethan's cadence selling the lie. Apex isn't just tech, it's transcendence. Applause thundered as the volunteer, a wide-eyed intern, donned the crown. Backstage, heart hammering, I slipped the dongle into the console. 30 seconds to air. Then, collision, my body, Ethan, burst from the wings, syringe glinting under spots. Now, he roared, jabbing for the neck. Adrenaline surged. We crashed into props, crown cables tangling like veins. The demo feed flickered live, our brawl projected giant, gasps rippling the hall. Punches landed, his fist, my old knuckles, cracking Ethan's jaw, blood copper on tongue. You stole everything, he bellowed, voice mine cracking with his fury. I countered, knee to gut. We built it on graves. You just dug deeper. The virus hit mid-scrap. Screens bloomed with Elena's final screams, her face frozen in agony, overlaid with memos, my signatures, his approvals. Chaos erupted. Screams, phones whipping out, security swarming. Hargrove bolted for exits, VCs vomiting into punch bowls. We rolled, crowns sinking involuntarily, neural bridge forming, memories merging in a torrent. Flashes, our garage nights, code and dreams. Elena's intake form, my hurried approved, push limits, Ethan's discovery, horror turning to calculus, frame her, save the empire. I did it for us, he gasped, my face tear-streaked. You were the genius, couldn't let you fall. Fall. We'd both plummeted, hubris our parachute. The merge deepened, his coke-fueled doubts, my prison isolation bleeding together. A shared vision, mom's grave, dad's ghost, the family weed sold for stock ticks. End this, he pleaded, syringe hovering. Poison or reversal? Security piled on, tasers popping like fireworks. As cuffs bit wrists, his on me, mine on him. The truth inverted, not betrayal, but sacrifice gone sour. I'd been the architect of the fall, he the reluctant executioner. The hall's roar faded to white noise, Elena's echo the last judge. Interrogation rooms smelled of stale coffee and shattered alibis. Feds separated us, glass walls mocking the divide. Talk. The agent barked, Hargrove's successor with a buzz cut and zero patience. I spilled. Ethan's body, Mila's soul, tapes, trials, the swap's Frankenstein folly. Lie detectors hummed lies into truths. Polygraphs couldn't parse the merge. Ethan, across the hall, cracked first. She knew. We both did. His confession mirrored mine, a duet of damnation. By dawn, charges stacked. Manslaughter for Elena, fraud for the frame, conspiracy for the Black Ops. Apex's servers raided, codes seized. My algorithms, twisted into weapons, now evidence. But the real cage? Isolation. No visits, no merges, just echoes. Lila testified, voice steel. They deserved each other. Public? Divided. Justice for Elena trended with tech martyrs counter memes. Were we villains or visionaries crushed by the machine? Debates raged on Reddit. Fox versus MSNBC spin. Innovation's cost or unchecked greed. In Solitary's hush, I scratch code on walls. Escape algorithms. Revenge 2.0. But the twist lingered. In saving the Empire, Ethan had saved me from myself. Hero? Or just another glitch in the system? Solitary wasn't silence. It was a symphony of doubts, each drip from the faucet a reminder of leaks I'd ignored. Ethan's body wasted, gym rat frames softening on prison slop, but the mind? Sharpened to a stiletto. Appeals crawled through courts, funded by frozen assets and pro bono hackers who'd worshipped my old repos. Mila Reyes, wrong genius or culpable code, splashed Vanity Fair. His mug split-screened with Elena's smile. The merge's aftershocks lingered, phantom itches where her tattoos faded, dreams of boardrooms in my voice. Ethan bunked states away in Corcoran, sent smuggled notes, crayon scrawls on toilet paper. We finish what we started. Swap back? Madness. The tech? Confiscated, dissected by eggheads in white coats, birthing ethics panels and bans. But blueprints? Burned into our brains, a shared virus. Halfway through the stretch, year 3 of 10, the break. A guard, crooked as a debug loop, slipped me a package. Jax's ghost? No. Rico, risen from the dead, eyes hollowed by witness protection. Feds cut a deal, he muttered in the laundry room steam. Hargrove flipped. Full pardon if you testify against DARPA. But Ethan's talking too. Wants immunity, pins it all on you. Pins it on me. The old reflex surged. Rage, pure Python exception. But wisdom, hard won, tempered. Testify, and I'd walk, he rots. Betray again? Cycle spins. I nodded, Rico vanishing into fog. The hearing loomed in D.C., wood-paneled chamber reeking of power plays. Air travel and cuffs felt like irony's joke, shackled on a puddle jumper, marshals snoring to NPR. D.C. hit like a culture shock, monuments mocking the mighty, lobbyists slithering like adders. Hargrove, defrocked and doughy, took the stand first. Reyes pushed the trials. Unstable, unethical. I warned him. Lies, butter smooth. His eyes screamed payback for the leak. My turn. Under oath, in Ethan's baritone, I dismantled. Tapes replayed, memos dissected. My signatures, yes, but his overrides, the frame's architecture. We were partners in crime, I admitted, voice cracking. But he wielded the knife. Gasps from the gallery. Elena's sister, tears carving canyons. VCs, squirming in Armani. Ethan's remote feed flickered, my face, gaunt, glaring. Bullshit, he erupted, Mike hot. Mila greenlit the dose. Chased glory, left me cleanup. The judge banged, but truth hung. Mutual murder, ambition's abortion. Senators grilled, cameras flashed. By recess, deals shifted. Joint immunity, Apex remnants liquidated for victim funds. Pardon granted, conditions chained. No tech, no contact, restitution till the grave. I walked free into autumn rain, D.C. streets slick as second chances. Oakland called, old Victorian sold, but the garage stood, weeds choking dad's toolbox. Mom's diner, boarded, ghosts in grease traps. Rebuild? Temptation whispered apps for good. AI watchdogs for the vulnerable. But scars itched. Lila's shadow wetting in the society pages, kids with my brother's eyes. Rico faded south, Jax's grave unmarked. Elena? Her family's foundation thrived, neural ethics named in her honor, bittersweet code I anonymously seeded. Ethan, paroled same day, terms mirrored. We met at the bridge's toll, fog cloaking the span like Mercy's veil. No crowns, no rigs, just siblings, shells of ambition. Truce, he offered, my old hand extended, knuckles scarred from his fights. I clasped, feeling the merge's echo, his pulse, my resolve. Not truce. Truth. We walked the span, spilling remnants. Regrets over IPAs, laughs at garage hacks. No forgiveness, but understanding, blood's glitch, fixable in fragments. Months blurred. I coded under pseudonyms, open-source sentinels against the next apex. He consulted ethics boards, voiced mine preaching caution. Scandals faded, but debates endured. Forums dissecting who betrayed whom? Heroes or hubris? The valley moved on, disrupting fresh graves. In quiet nights, staring at the bay's black mirror, I wonder, revenge's cost? A hollow win, or the spark that burned the rot? Ethan's call breaks the reverie. Coffee? Talk shop. I agree, because endings aren't crashes, they're reboots, messy as American dreams. And if the swap whispers return? Well, some secrets stay buried. Others? We drag into light, arguing till dawn.